Okay, so we're gonna get started today. In today's video, we're going to continue talking about the topic that we were talking about in the previous episode. Let's call it that way, where we were trying to use Google Workspace to its full potential, creating automations with Google Apps Script and using a few other tools that are provided by the system. So in today's video, we're gonna dig in a little bit more with Google Apps Script. We're going to create an automation that allows you to extract attachments from emails, and it will put them on a specific folder that we're going to specify in our code, right? Now, we're gonna go through a few other use cases that we can use AppScript for, but in today's video, the first thing that we're gonna talk about is that, right? That AppScript. So let's go ahead and we're gonna get started completely from scratch here today. So I've created an email here that we can use, and it's a regular Gmail account, so anyone can follow along. If you have a Gmail account, you can do this. If
Are
you
you
have
are you
a
sharing
works,
your screen?
not yet.
Okay.
I think it's because you're sharing. I cannot share, so just stop sharing.
Let me stop it. Let's do it.
Alrighty. So let me go ahead and share the screen, and let me open up the email too, so we can be ready. And I'm going to pull up my Scala draw too, so we can understand how this automation will work. We're gonna do like a little diagram, like a visual representation of how the script is going to work. And let me share the screen. Let me know when you can see it. Uh,
You're set.
okay, perfect. So what you see now, it's a tool called Scala, and this allows you to just draw basically online. You can share this with anyone you want. You can save your diagrams to your computer as well. It's very useful. It's very friendly as well. So it's an easy tool that you can leverage as well. So first of all, I want you all to understand how this is going to work. So we're gonna draw uh, the process from the beginning to the end, right? So from the beginning, what we want to achieve is I get a lot of invoices through email, and I get them from a specific email address, right? And normally, what I have to do is that I have to go to the email, I have to download the the attachment, and I have to save it on a specific folder. So essentially what I want to do is automate that part, right? I want a system that can automatically grab all those attachments and put them in a Google Drive folder that I'm going to create. Okay, so the process starts with an email, like we just said, right? You receive.
Does it always have to be the exact same subject, or you can just also consider the sender?
There's a bunch of different configurations that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
The one that we're gonna go through right now listens to a specific sender and a specific subject as well.
Okay.
But if you want to make it more general, like for example, if you want to retrieve absolutely all the attachments from your invoice thing, you're not going to limit it to a specific sender, right? And it might take a little bit longer for the script to finish working, and we can schedule that to work at a specific time frame every day. But that's definitely doable. But for this scenario, we're just gonna be focusing on a specific sender and a specific subject line.
Okay.
Okay, so it starts with receive an email from X sender, and we have a subject line. The subject line that we're gonna be working with is, let me see here. I think I got a
New
few
message
emails
from
already.
new invoice from Laura.
Okay, perfect. So it's new invoice from Laura. So it's very important to have that in consideration because we're gonna use that as a conditional. A conditional will prevent us from just going through the whole email box, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first step here. We'll receive an email. Um, Now this is where we're gonna do the app script, right? We already have the email, and that email has attachments. So now what the app script is going to do is that it's going to look. Well, we're gonna write down the functions that this uh, app script is going to do, right? It's going to filter my inbox, and it will filter it by sender. It will filter also by um, subject, and it will filter the emails that have an attachment. The ones that don't have an attachment, I don't care about those because I'm not gonna be able to get anything from those, right? Alrighty. Those are the three filters that the app script is going to do. So once it finds an email that meets these conditions, it's going to create a list, right, of all those emails. So it's create list of the emails that meet the criteria. And then after that, we're going to review, sorry, extract. We're going to do the extraction here. Extract the attachments from each email. So this is, we're iterating over that list, right? We're going to go through each email that meets this criteria. And let's go ahead and set everything up in our Google Workspace before we jump into Google Apps Script, right? So the first thing that I'm going to do here, as you can see, I have a brand new account. I'm going to
Now,
create a
this
folder.
is a normal email account,
Exactly,
not
it's a
a
Gmail.
Google
It
Workspace.
is
So
not a
that
Google
means,
Workspace. No,
mm-hmm.
it's a regular Gmail account. So we're gonna go here. You can create this folder from anywhere you want. I'm gonna create it from my drive. All I have to do is I can give this any name. For example, invoices from Laura. And this is where I'm gonna dump all the attachments for Laura, right? Um, and then I think that's pretty much all we need to set up here. Like you have to know where you're gonna save your documents, right? And we're gonna go to the script. I'm gonna show you how to get to that portion here. So you just have to look for Google Apps Script on Google, and you click on the first result that you get here. You just click on Start Scripting. Now, you have all the documentation for the Google Apps Script here, so you can go through that. And in the previous video, we explained a little bit more about what's Google Apps Script. So if you go to our YouTube channel, if you go there, you will be able to see the recording from the previous workshop. So if you need a little more information about it. But as you can see, I don't have any projects here. This is a brand new account, and it's a Gmail account, not a Google Workspace account. So we are going to create a new project here, and we're going to name this project file extraction, for example. Alrighty. So now I have a blank project here. I'm going to delete this, and I already have the code pre-built, but I'll go ahead and explain to you what you're going to modify in order to make sure you can have this automation on your setup as well, right? Let me go ahead and see here. Let me find that script. Okay, perfect. I got it. Okay, perfect. So if we want to have this code, we can share it with you. You just need to get in contact with us or send a message here in the chat, and we will share the code with you. If you want to make any modifications to it, we can very much just do anything that you need for your business as well. So we're gonna go through this function. So a function is just like a set of instructions that you give a program, right? And this specific function has just one objective, and that objective is extracting data from the emails. Now, in order to extract data from the emails and to save them in a specific folder, I have to tell the app script where is that folder, right? So so if we go to our Google Drive, this is the folder that I created. See, invoices from Laura, but it is not a good practice to grab things by the name because the name can change, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Google actually creates a unique identifier for each folder, and that unique identifier is located at the end of the URL. If you look at this folder here, you can see drive.google.com, drive folders, and now here we have our unique identifier, right? So we're going to use that to indicate our app script. This is where I want to save any attachment that you get here. All right, perfect. Now the other thing that we need to modify, it's here the filters that we have for the emails. So and you can find that on this line on line 10. So this is where you will play around with your filters, right? So in this case, the emails are coming from elsoto at evdev.com, and the subject, as we said previously, it's new invoice for Laura, right? This could be anything though. Normally, what you want to do is you want to go through your emails, the ones that you want to automate, and you want to see what that subject is. If they change regularly, what I would recommend is to get in contact with your vendor so they can have a specific subject for your setup. Or the other way that you could do this is just by um, just using the from, right? Because some most of the times the images they come from the same email address, so you will be good just by using the from, right, the sender's email address to limit your
Mm-hmm.
query. And
Now, we just
mhm,
made one folder, but is there any way to create like maybe quarterly folders? It's just not in the script, correct?
exactly, right now it's not in the script, but we can make it even more granular. We can make it do a folder per day if you want to, like these are the ones received on this day. So what we do there is that we have to detect the date based on a Google App Script function. We can create that function that grabs today's date, and we can create a folder and dump everything that we do on that day on that specific folder. So it's gonna be dynamically creating those folders for us if we
Mm-hmm.
want to. And if we wanted to do it by quarters, that can also be done. Yeah. So pretty much, if you have the idea, you can build it. Like there's not many limitations here. I think the only limitations that you have is some quotas that you have with Google Drive or with Gmail, but there is always a workaround for those, right? Like if you're doing too many requests per minute, we can. add like a little delay. We know how to do it, so if you encounter any of those issues, we can help you fix them. Alrighty.
Cool.
Okay, perfect. So this specific script is not classifying documents by type, right, or by format. It's just grabbing whatever attachment it's on the emails, it's gonna dump it in that folder, right? But we could create different folders. Like for example, if I wanted to have a folder for PDFs, if I wanted to have a folder
Mm-hmm.
for images, or a folder for Excel documents or Google Sheets, we can do that as well. We can create those folders and tell the system, hey, PDFs they go here, uh, images they go
Images.
here, and so on and so forth, right? So
Nice.
so as you can see, I only had to modify these two things, right? The folder ID, which I grabbed from my folder here on Google Drive, and I also changed the from here. So that's all you have to change in the code. That's pretty much it. So what we're gonna do next, we're gonna deploy, and deploying means that we're gonna grant all the permissions that our code needs to run. Our code is going to need permissions to access our email, going to need permission to access our Google Drive. So we have to grant those permissions, right? And it's all within the Google environment, so it's very secure. We're not exposing anything here to the world, right? So the option that you want to use right now for this automation is web application, and you can provide a little description here. In this case, this is going to be a new Gmail automation. Yeah, let's just go with that way. And only I have access to it, but I could share this with other people, right? But I don't want that. I just want it for myself. So I'm gonna deploy this. Takes a little bit, and now it's asking me to provide those permissions. Now, if you get this message here, you just have to click on continue here, and now you provide the permission. Okay, then it has been deployed. So, in order to run this automation, there's two ways you can do this. You can have it, um, you can run it manually. Like here at the top, we have a run button, or we can create a trigger so it gets executed every now and then, right? Like every specific time set or time
Time.
frame that you want to set it to work. So we're gonna go to the trigger to show you how to do that, right? So if you go here to the left hand side, you just go to triggers, and now at the bottom we have an option to add a trigger. So we just add the trigger. We select our function. Remember, we just have one function in this code, and it's this one here: save vendor invoices to folder. Okay, so we go back to triggers, we click on add trigger, and we make sure that a specific function is selected. By default, the system already recognized that I only have one function, so it already pre-populated that field for us. But if you have multiple functions, then you're going to need to select the one you want to run with the trigger. Perfect. So we're gonna do this time driven, and I want this to be a day timer. So I want this to run every day, like around 5 or 6 p.m. That's when I know I'm not gonna get any other invoices. So it's going to grab all the attachments from my emails that I received during the day, right? So at 5 or from 5 to 6 p.m., this script is going to be executed automatically. And I want to know immediately if there was any failure, right? And I'm going to hit save. It's going to ask you to provide those permissions again. And there you go. Just allow. Okay, perfect. So we're good. We have that trigger. So for this explanation, we're not gonna wait until 5 for this to be automatically executed. So we're gonna run it manually. And I want to go here to the folder to show you that it is completely empty right now. But I do have some emails here that have attachments. So we're gonna get those in a moment. So let's go ahead and run our script here. And it's already fetching the emails from my inbox that have an attachment, and it's grabbing all those attachments. It's gonna put them automatically in this folder. And as you can see, it's working right now. It actually already completed the process. We get it execution completed here, and we can see some invoices here that I received. You see, so now I automated this task, and I know it looks like a very simple task to do, but if you have no idea how many emails we receive in a day, so it this definitely saves like an hour or two of my
Yes.
work every day.
So the use case would be for just about anyone having to extract emails from one certain email. And I can think of like AP invoices, for example, coming from a vendor. It would totally depends on how it's set up, like you said. I actually, can you just pull up the thumbnail? I actually sent you some cool images over there.
Yeah, let
The
me go ahead and
thumbnail
see
of
here.
the hello email freedom. So the fact that we've used this specific script, but one that is more complicated with other clients, just I can think of bills like, I don't know, electricity bills or
Yeah,
documents. And then there's also the extraction of the content inside of those invoices, correct?
exactly. One of the automations that we have worked on before that are a little more complicated. I wouldn't be able to put everything in 1 hour, honestly, on a video. It would take a considerate amount of time to have it built and test and all that stuff. But something that we have done is that we can extract the information from these invoices using artificial intelligence, right? So that can help you with your data entry. So we know data entry is busy work. You receive all those invoices, you have to type that in. Some people do it on Google Sheets. Some people might want to do this on a specific ERP, or maybe they have a CRM, a custom relationship manager system, where they input all this information. But in this case, we can automate that process. So we can extract, like for example, if you have an invoice, you want to have all those invoice lines sent to your CRM. If you want them sent to your ERP, we have done that before, and it has very high accuracy, which is extremely important when doing data entry. Like you say, it's a repetitive work, right? And you can type a number incorrectly if you're doing it manually, or you might enter the total, for example, from another line. There's a lot of things that can happen, right, when doing manual data entry. And it's like I said, it's busy work. The client that work with was receiving around 30 invoices per day, and manually entering that information to their system was taking a considerate amount of time. Uh, and also taking in consideration the errors that they found that they have to go back and correct, we save them a ton of time with that automation. So that's just one of the applications that we can do with Google Apps Script. We can do a lot more with it. And let me go ahead and stop sharing here because we're gonna go through another scenario with Google Apps Script. But let me know, Laura, do you have any questions about how this works?
I'm thinking the name of the function, the file instruction project. I mean, the whole code, you build it up and you name it like that. That's why the Google was populate in that name, right? So the name of the function is something that you name. It's just not
Exactly. Yeah, we
okay.
could change his name to anything we want.
Say
Um,
vendor invoice as that
yeah, like for
exactly.
example, I could change it to work, work function.
We're uh-huh.
Yeah, and I'll just save this, and now I have to fix my trigger. You see,
Right.
because
That's what
my
I was.
trigger, it's
Mm-hmm.
set to run on another function that doesn't exist anymore. You see, so
There
now
you
I'm gonna
go.
select work function,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like the script you've made it with this is variables, I guess. There are only a few of them. We could add if it's a of type of filing. I understand you could trigger this maybe at the beginning of the day or another day, even a monthly basis. So there's lots of other variables that we didn't show that we can help with, but it totally will depend on everyone. So I think it was really cool. Seeing the script just doing the job.
Thank
Um,
you. So yeah, it's absolutely extremely helpful. It's I would say that it's a language, programming language that's easy to learn, and you can also leverage artificial intelligence to build your automations. You do need to know a little bit about programming to know what the AI is doing, right? But
mm-hmm.
there's a bunch of automations that you can build using this. Like, for example, I can show a few very simple examples with ChatGPT and like the free version of it as well. Like, for example, let's go ahead and build a Google Sheets function. For example, I'm gonna open sheets.google.com. Just going to open Google Sheets on my computer, right? And I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. Okay, perfect. Let me close this stuff. Okay, I don't need any of this. But from here, if you go to extensions here, you have an option for app script, you see? So you select that option, and now I can create my function from here. And I can call
Okay.
that function from my spreadsheet. Like for
Is
example, if I wanted to have a function that generates random passwords, I don't know how to do that right now. Like, or it would take me a considerate amount of time to come up with the whole architecture of it. But I could just, ask ChatGPT right now, and I'm gonna use the free version, so anyone can do it too. Just go to ChatGPT.com, and we're gonna ask it.
does this work the other way around? Say I have the columns of the Google sheet and I want to create invoices.
To create invoices, yeah, you could do that. Um, for a Google Sheet, if you have all the invoice lines, you could do an
Okay.
integration between Google Sheets and Google Docs to create your
Okay.
invoices. And yeah, you can integrate those three, right? Google Sheets, Google Apps Script is kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the middleman there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so if Google Apps Script is going to grab all those rows from your sheet, and it's going to put them on a Google document.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing that you could do as well with Google Forms, that you can create like a contract form where you grab all your customers' information, and you can have a template, a Google Documents template, and any information that you fill out from that form gets replaced on your template. So you can, for example, create contracts. You can create I don't know, a bill of material, any document that you want to create at work. Um, with that type of automation, you can do it too.
Yeah. So it looks like also I can think of Google Forms if maybe it's not the Google Sheet, like to make it happen automatically as soon as someone fills the form.
So you have both options. When it comes to Google Forms, you can integrate that with Google Apps Script, or it just depends on where you want to trigger things. Because you can also have a Google Form push information to a Google Sheet, right? And from the
Mm-hmm.
Google Sheet, you can build your automation. But if you don't want to go through Google Sheets, you just want to generate your contracts, you could do it directly from Google Forms without going through Google Sheets.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. So, first of all, if you're gonna use AI, you have to be very specific for what you need, right? So, first of all, I'm telling the chat, right? You're going to be a an expert in Google Apps Script. You will help me create a function that generates random secure passwords. They need to be 8 digits, include capital letters and symbols and special characters. That's the one. Explain how to implement. Okay. Okay, perfect. So let's go through what ChatGPT is telling us, right? So we're going to, well, we're not gonna go through everything here, but what we really care about is the code, right? So this is the code that we need in our Google Apps script, and it's ready to just copy and paste. We're gonna copy and paste that to our Google Apps script, and we're going to name this, um,
Random passwords.
uh-huh, random passwords. We're gonna rename, and now let's go ahead and read what ChatGPT is telling us, right? It's explaining the code. If you're gonna go through the code explanation, you can do that, no problem. But how to implement it on Google Sheets? So it's telling us we have to go to Google Sheets, and in the script editor, we have to paste the code, which we already did. And now it says that you can call to generate secure password from anywhere in your sheets, right? All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and test it out. So I'm
That'll
going
be
to
like
deploy
a
this
formula.
like a formula, exactly. So it's
Okay.
like creating your own formulas, basically. So I'm going to deploy this, otherwise it won't be available in my sheet, right? Alrighty, perfect. So now let's go here. I'm going to refresh this sheet. And for example, I have a list of users. I have Pepito and I have three Pepitos. Oops. Alright, perfect. So we have a bunch of Pepitos and I want to generate a password for this one. So let's go back to the sheet, sorry, to the Google Apps script, and it looks like this guy's working here. I can't click. Okay, there you go. I want to see the name of a function. So I want to make sure you have to copy this function name, right? And now just go and do equal the name of the function. And let's go back to the ChatGPT explanation. We have to include these parentheses at the end to indicate it's a function. And as you can see, it just generated that for me. Now, if I want to have this same function here on the other well rows here, I just I can drag this, and it's gonna do the same for all of them, and they're all going to be different. This is a easy way to generate safe passwords. I wouldn't recommend you to keep those in the sheet after you finish. You can already delete that information. But that's just one example of what you can do here. You can build a whole lot of different um, well functions for your Google Sheets using Google Apps Script. Now the other one that I wanted to go through, Laura, it's I don't know if we have the time though. It's another one that would allow you to classify documents in a Google Drive. Like if I already have
Nice.
all my documents there and they're like all scrambled and I don't know what's what, and I want to
I,
separate them
I think we can leave that for next time.
for next time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, but
Yes.
that's a very cool example that we can go through.
Mm-hmm.
And
And in any case, we've done these cool examples just to for people to get an idea of the, I guess, the power that it comes with just having to use the tools in your in the Google Workspace, and well, even for a regular user, just to have manage a small business, anything that can be triggered by these same functions or thoughts. It could be useful for them, or I don't know. It's just helps you run your business smoothly.
exactly, it's definitely helpful for
Okay.
anyone that works with Google Workspace every day, or
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't work with Google Workspace every day, like
Yeah, you should do
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You should
exactly,
just
like
do
to make
it.
your life a lot easier.
Oh, but for the Microsoft users, I know that this also runs with other names in the Microsoft workspace.
Yeah, so on the Microsoft um, space, they have similar tools that you can use to build automations, um, to build applications as well. For example, you can build an app on Microsoft using Power Apps. So, like for example, you can turn an Excel sheet into a database, and you can have multiple sheets. So you can have a user sheet, you can have a I don't know, like a customer sheet, and you can use those to create a system. That's one example. But you can also connect those apps to a database, and you can do the same thing here on Google Workspace with AppSheet. So AppSheet basically allows you to convert a Google Sheet into a application, and they have a bunch
Mm,
of different examples here. They have a bunch of templates. So if you go through the templates, these are a few of the things that you could build. Like you can
nice.
do an inventory system.
For a small
Um,
store.
yeah, there is a lot of cool things that you can do here. Like for example, a PTO tracker. Um, so people can request their PTOs. Um, you could do. Let me see here. One's a cool one that we could use. There was you have like a point of sale as well here, like a very basic one, and I wouldn't use it for like a large business, right? But if you have a
Mm-hmm.
small
No,
business and you're running everything on Sheets, then this may be the the best approach to do it.
that's
Like for
nice.
example, you can have a very simple CRM using this. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with AppSheet. So in Google, sorry, in Microsoft, that's called Power Apps.
Mm, right. You have to have a username over there also and pay for a license. But in any
Yeah,
case, it's worth streaming your operations to.
exactly. So I would say that the equivalent to Google Apps Script on Microsoft is Power Automate. But I would say
Mm,
that You can do a little bit more with Power Automate than what you can do with AppScript, because with Power Automate you can even build robotic process automations that essentially,
Mm,
you can tell the system where to click on the screen. Um, like if you want to fetch, like, a good example of this is, like, for example, I have a retail business, right? And I'm interested in knowing the prices for a specific product on different websites. And I can create a bot that goes to Amazon, that goes to eBay, and searches for the item that I'm selling. And it grabs, for example, the price of that item on each of these platforms. So now I have a sheet with all the prices for any specific item on different stores.
mm-hmm.
That helps me price my products accordingly to be competitive, right? Or if I
Now,
wanna,
that
yeah,
sounds super good, but where are you basing your search? You're basing it based on a photo or a description of an item? What did
you
you
can base
use
it
to
on
guess it?
anything.
Okay.
Actually, you can base it on a photo. You can base it on a description.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, most of the times they have gotten much more flexible with
Mm-hmm.
AI nowadays, right? Because now you can embed AI into your processes. Previously, you have to be very specific about what you search by, right? But now AI can actually understand what you're looking at,
Oh, wow.
and kind of like having a human going through all these
Through
websites,
doing it.
right? And
Wow.
and the AI can scroll down and you can tell, okay, this is the item we're looking for. Let me put it on a sheet, for example. So it's with AI, man. Everything is so much easier nowadays. Like, you can build automations really fast with it, and almost almost everyone is including those in their tools. So you're gonna
Great.
find AI here. You're gonna find AI on Google, on Microsoft as well. So there's a bunch of things you can do.
Nice. Okay. So I guess this is our time, and we're off to. I guess we could do the document next time. Maybe build up a contract. Anything that our clients can tell us about their needs, it would be great. I see that the power of automation has changed, a lot of positions, and for good ways, not necessarily only focus on the stuff that you don't do anymore, but the things that you could do, with it. Thanks, Alvin.
Thank you. No, so see you next time. Well, if you have, and I'm talking to reviewers, right? If you have any questions or any process that you think that we might be able to automate for you, we're here to help you. We can talk about it in the next workshop. We have that on Thursday at the same time, 11:30. So we can touch base on those. If you want to have a consultation with us, you can reach out to us as well. Do we have the contact information here, Laura, that we can share?
Oh, well, I did had my window, and you can visit our website
Yes, just go
to
to
create a
EVTech.
consultation. A consultation could be a 10-minute phone call. It would be just as simple as, telling us a little bit about your business. What do you do? How would you like to improve it? And we can go from there.
Thank you. We'll see you next time,
Okay.
guys.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.